a mirror on the wall, who is the criminal amongst us all? This question has perplexed humanity for ages and has been the subject of research for forensic psychologists and criminologists. Everyone has made an effort to provide an explanation for why people commit crime, from psychological to biological and sociological. Regardless of the reason for crime, the judiciary always has one goal: to equip the prisoner to lead a normal life in the society with RRR, release, renewal, and rehabilitation. Nevertheless, the judiciary has persistently wondered for time immemorial who will be re-arrested and who will return into the dark alleys of the prison, who will turn into a ghost for the legal system. I, Krupa Nishar, a forensic psychology enthusiast who wants to revolutionize the criminal justice system of India, would like to welcome you all to the discussion of the fancy, never-heard concept of recidivism. To put it simply, recidivism refers to the tendency of a criminal to re-offend and return back to prison after release. Research has suggested that repeat offenders recidivate within at least 3 years of release after prison. Recidivism has been a prominent contemporary challenge plaguing the law enforcement officials and public policy makers in India. Let's cast an eye over the severity of the recidivism crisis at Tihar Jail, Asia's biggest jail in India. In 2017, the percentage of repeat offenders within at least 3 years of release was 20%, increasing to 21% in 2018 and increasing to 23% in 2019. Guess what then? As a result, the number of inmates at Tihar Jail is currently about 120% more than the maximum allowed occupancy. Surprising, really. In India, in the present era, we have 145 central jails, 143 district jails, 415 sub-jails, and 565 special jails. Imagine the overcrowding in all these jails due to the same repeat offender rate. Now it's important to raise questions like, who are these prisoners that are trapped within the walls of the prison repeatedly? Are they the victims of society, or are they shackled by the barriers of their own mistakes? Does India's judicial system need more effective methods to successfully rehabilitate these prisoners? Let's think about it. Let us delve into how several elements of society feed into the cycle of recidivism. Here is a story of one of the prisoners that I met. His name is Mr. JR. He became a father when he was 20 years old, and he eventually turned to sell illegal liquor as a means to earning for a family because he had no source of revenue, no schooling, and no skills. He received a 5-year imprisonment because of his career choice. This is the first cycle, the first step of the recidivism cycle, the pre-conviction stage where people resort to criminal activities for survival because of absence of options to improve their life situations. Let's move on to the second stage of the recidivism cycle, the imprisonment stage. After being imprisoned, Mr. JR faced several significant challenges like overcrowded prisons, underfunded facilities, lack of access to mental health or educational programs. Basically, a lack of programs to optimally help him to rehabilitate into society to lead a normal life. Mr. JR was freed after 5 years of imprisonment. 5 years is a long time. As soon as I met him, he told, I don't know how the society will accept me. Will my children be happy? Will my children like me? How will my children be accepted in this society because of my karam? How will my society face this shame because of me? Mr. JR felt alone and desperate because of this very stigma and severe discrimination, making it difficult for him to reintegrate back into society. This is the third stage of the recidivism cycle, the release. Due to the criminal record, the offender now faces greater difficulty in accessing resources which were already largely unavailable to him prior to incarceration in the first place. During his prison life, Mr. JR did participate in a lot of skill training workshops like carpentry, painting, cooking, and received many degrees and certificates in education, more than we can fathom. Trust me, he did try to improve as a spouse and as a father. But after his release, he went for looking for a job and he realized a clean police record was needed. So as Mark Twain once said, as ill luck begins, it does not come in sprinkles, it comes in showers. The life twist of incarceration has left minimal resources for the offenders to attain, to access, because once they are detained, there is very less hope for reintegration into society. The social constructs that once aggravated the crime for the offender will now remain in place even if the offender is released back into society. This is the fourth stage of the recidivism cycle, that is the re-offending stage. After some months, I did meet Mr. JR, re-arrested and under trial for illegal liquor. And he told me, क्या करूं मैडम, रोटी कपड़ा मकान के लिए बस यही काम अच्छे से आता है. Were his final words as he bid farewell before entering the prison. Here are a few poetic lines for expressing my thoughts on this issue. Recidivism, a vicious cycle indeed. Recidivism, a vicious cycle indeed, a trap for those in need. A trap for those in need. Returning to the streets, they must survive. Returning to the streets, they must survive. At last, they pay the price to stay alive. At last, they pay the price to stay alive. Looking at cases of re-offenders like Mr. JR, the saying, lightning never strikes twice, is highly controversial or contradictory. During COVID-19, a lot of under-trials and convicts of non-heinous crimes such as snatching, burglary, theft were released to prevent the spread of coronavirus, resulting in greater recidivism rates and threatening the city's peace and order. This re-offending behavior is quite common in offenders with a shorter punishment, contrary to the commonly held notion that only murderers and rapists will commit crime again if released back into the society. Breaking yet another myth, the demographics of the repeat offender are never limited to a specific caste, class, religion, education, or culture. This means that the cohort of repeat offenders are not limited to robbery or dacoity, but it is remarkably visible in white-collar criminals, cyber criminals, and criminals against persons. So, the social dynamics have created a revolving door system for the offenders. Pre-conviction, imprisonment, release, re-offending. Again, pre-conviction, imprisonment, release, re-offending, contributing to the deterioration of communities, families, and public safety. So, who is to blame? I ask, who is to blame? Are these re-offenders prisoners of their past? Are they victims of the thinking of society? Or are they victims of their own thinking? Are they entangled in this recidivism cycle because of the justice system's failure? Will punishment solve all of this? Or do we really need a magic wand? To break the cycle of recidivism, we must understand why individuals recommit crime. This comprises figuring out the causes of criminal behavior as well as the probability by which the person will commit crime again. It is essential to start predicting recidivism. But why? Why do we need it? Firstly, by analyzing data on a person's demographics, we can identify the patterns and risk factors associated with criminal behavior as well as the likelihood of reoffending. Second, we can create targeted rehabilitation and reintegration programs to reduce the recidivism rates once we identify these high-risk individuals. Thirdly, forecasting recidivism can help judge to understand, to realize whether to release the individual on parole or whether or not to grant the individual early supervision or additional supervision or early release to reduce the recidivism rates by evaluating the propensity to reoffend. Fourth, looking at India's overcrowded prison system, it is important that recidivism forecasting can help us allocate resources to criminals who will likely or likely to commit crime again by understanding and giving them the assistance they need to avoid relapse. But is this even possible? Are these events possible, or am I being very unrealistic, similar to those fairy tales where the frog turns into a prince-like figure? Yes, of course, this is possible. How? Engineers like you all, along with forensic psychologists, can predict recidivism in India by developing machine learning or AI algorithms to predict likelihood of reoffending. Second, by building predictive models to understand who are these high-risk individuals. And thirdly, by creating risk assessment tools to tailor-make rehabilitation plans. By using their technical expertise in analyzing and interpreting data, engineers and forensic psychologists can prevent recidivism and also improve public safety. But recidivism in India is possible, but it's not a perfect science. I once heard from somebody that predicting recidivism is like predicting weather. We know, we have an idea what's coming up next, but it's subject to change. Yet, we use technology and data to understand and to prepare us for bad weather. Similarly, we must use AI tools to prevent and predict recidivism in our own countries. Reducing recidivism rates lessens the burden on incarceration system, taxpayers, and communities. By investing in the needs of the individuals exiting the correctional system, the government ensures that people who enter into the community are equipped and motivated enough to contribute to society significantly. Thus, it is truly said that breaking the cycle of recidivism is truly considered as one of the cornerstones of state policies for prevention of crime in India. Jai Hind, thank you.